Thank you for stopping by. Corporate would like to take a moment for you to explain the differences between these two figures. Legacy Evolution, MetalHawk, today on Guerrilla Reviews. Very nice to see Transformers Victory representation outside of HasLab. Here in the form of MetalHawk, a very extensive retool of the Kingdom Cyclonus here. Though if you look on the bottom here, you can kind of see where some of the parts were functionally reused, but they did a very impressive job of remolding as much as they could and changing the engineering to make a significant difference on a majority of it. Although MetalHawk here did lose the landing gear. Although I'd probably have to check to see if he ever actually landed on anything, unlike Cyclonus. Perhaps I should clarify. There was one other Victory representation in domestic shores here from the BotCon set. Also with MetalHawk. Remolded from the Thunderwing / Black Shadow mold. And it is not without its own issues, but we'll get into that a little later. You know, for accessories on MetalHawk here, we do have the sword. Yes, a sword on top of a plane. Makes about as much sense as everything else. And for the additional ailerons here, we do have guns here, which for the Evo Fusion feature you can combine together, which makes about as much sense as any gun with two barrels makes, if that excites you. One thing I will give credit for is that they chose to represent the robot mode for this whole, as a whole, rather than the Pretender shell for this version of MetalHawk, which people, including myself, appreciate greatly. Because, as you'll see with the BotCon, they chose to represent the Pretender shell for him, and yeah, it's just a little odd. So now for additional ports and pegs, we have 4 back here, so you can add thrusters to that. Let's see now, if you remove these, again, you see 2 on the back part of the ship, and 1 more on the top. So you can have the sword like that, if you really want to. Okay, we'll move these parts to the side while we get to transformation here, starting with the wings, which we will separate and fold inward. Okay, since that already started, we'll unpeg what will be the shoulders, fold this part down and forward, then we'll just kind of finagle these legs out, like so. And then, let's see. Here we go, fold down that, bring out the, separate the legs, open up this, then fold down, fold this in, leg 1. Repeat with the other leg. So far, so good. Okay, now, get this actually on camera here, that'd be handy. Fold out the chest. Bring all this around, like so. And so it'll come from here, I believe. Okay, yeah. Bring the nose cone down, separate the back part, fold the front part of the nose cone in, twist around, and fold it all back in. Making certain you peg the shoulder bits together. This is very important. Okay, what's there now? Okay, there we go. Yep. Tab in there, then this should all tab in like that. Beautiful. Okay, bring out the fists. There we go. MetalHawk, robot mode. And as you can see in robot mode here, with the accessories reattached, you do see a lot more similarity in the body shape of MetalHawk here from Cyclonus. But again, I have to appreciate how they got a different transformation scheme to get a very singular vehicle mode there. And it's definitely not this, because again, they chose to do the robot mode rather than the Pretender shell, because that head has haunted people's dreams for years. But getting back to the Evo Fusion bit, you take off these parts right here, combine them, and you get a handheld gun with 2 cannons, which, as I mentioned earlier, doesn't make a lot of sense. But that's what they chose to do, and it's Far from the most egregious version of a gimmick that we've ever seen, let's be honest. Now about the gold plastic. Now I've been assured, and have yet to see any real issues, as of anybody, that this is the type of gold plastic that is infamous. So hopefully they've managed to work it out. Then again, it takes a few years for that to really set in, so if we see MetalHawks deteriorating in like 2035 or so, I guess we'll have the answer to that question, won't we? In robot mode, we do also see a couple extra weapon 5mm ports here, as well as those for the feet, so you can have them flying around in robot mode. And you can also peg the sword onto his back like that. And if you so choose, you could have his guns stored like that, if that excites you. As for articulation, head swivels, doesn't really have, I guess it does have a ball joint, but due to its limitations can't do that much. Universal joint for the shoulder, bicep swivel, 45-degree elbow bend, and inward tilting wrist, waist rotation, universal joint for the hips, thigh rotation, and deep knee bend due to its transformation, though it does kind of look a little silly if you do it one way. If you do it just like this, then yeah, you just get the same 45 degrees, but that's really up to you if you want to do it that way. And let's see now. Very interesting hinge joint and swivel joint, so you can get a decent amount of posability from the feet. Again, very much like Cyclonus, but since this is an anime character, you kind of expect a little more posability, and you're far more likely to use it. Now, since many of you probably already have the Kingdom Cyclonus, or at least I would think that because it is an excellent figure, you know roughly what to expect from MetalHawk here, but it's still an excellent figure and an excellent mold. I would definitely attain one, especially since I was actually able to find MetalHawk at a retail store, which made him all the better for me. You can still find them at a lot of online retailers if that's your only option, but it's definitely worth getting. Anyway, I am the Deceptiwolf. This has been Legacy Evolution MetalHawk, and again, I remind you all, free your mind, free your toys.